Hi all, welcome to QTspot. In this video, let's discuss about bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is a technique where basic compiler is used to create a more advanced version of itself. This process helps in building compilers for new programming languages and improving the ones already in use. Bootstrapping is a process of creating a self-compiling compiler which can compile its own source code. So compiler is a software which converts a program written in high-level language, that means in source language, to low-level language. It can be an object or target or mission language. Any compiler is represented using source language, target language and implementation language. Implementation language is a language in which compiler is written. The compiler accepts program written in the source language and converts it into the target program of some other language. Then the compiler is implemented with some implementation language. Usually, compiler can be represented using the T diagram. In this diagram, the source language of the compiler is positioned at the top left and the target language is at the top right, and the language in which the compiler is implemented is shown at the bottom. So, S is the source language, T is the target language, I is the implementation language. This is the T diagram of compiler. Let's take an example for this. Let a compiler is accepting A as input from the source program and the output of it is B at the target program. Let's assume compiler is implementing using Python language. As we already know, CPU is capable of understanding only mission language, that is written in binary code, that means zeros and ones. Now CPU can't understand this Python language. So we have to design a compiler for this Python language. Then the compiler accepts the Python as the source code and assume that it is producing machine code as output. Then the implementation code is C++ language. So we have to design one more compiler for the C++ language. Then the target language is in the mission code. And the implementation code of the compiler is C language. So we again have to use one more compiler, and C language is the source code and target language is as usual mission code and implemented assembly language. Again design compiler with assembly language as source code and the target code is mission language, and it implemented mission code in the compiler. So with the help of bottom compiler, we can run the top compilers. So this process is called as bootstrapping. So clearly, bootstrapping is the process of creating compilers. It involves a methodology where a slightly more complicated compiler is created using a simple language. This slightly more complicated compiler in turn is used to create an even more advanced compiler, and this process continues until the desired result is achieved. So let's see the advantages. The advantages of this bootstrapping is improved efficiency. That means bootstrapping makes development process faster. Once you have a basic compiler, you can use it to create more advanced versions, making the entire process of building a compiler much easier. And next is the portability. Once you have bootstrapped a compiler, it can be used to generate code for various platforms across different systems. And third is reduced dependency. As long as you have a simple starting compiler, you can use it to build more complex versions and handle all your compiling needs. This reduces the need for other software or external dependencies. Let's see the challenges and limitations of this bootstrapping process. First is initial effort. Before bootstrapping can even begin, we need to create a simple working compiler from scratch, which requires a lot of time and effort. And second is complexity or self-compilation. Building a self-compiling compiler adds complexity because you have to ensure that each version can handle more features and still work as expected. And third is time consumption. Bootstrapping is not something that happens overnight. It takes time and resources, especially during the early stages. You have to repeatedly build and improve versions of the compiler, which can be a slow process in the beginning. So this is all about bootstrapping. Thank you.